morning, my delightful things. Welcome back or welcome to the cavern. I hope you all had a good week and are doing fabulous. Thank you so much to the new subscribers. Welcome to the Fangdom. It's an amazing group. Trust me. Today we're talking about a lesser known serial killer from history. Niers was born into a peasant family in the 16th century in Germany. Niers witnessed firsthand the struggles of rampant classism. The inhumane living conditions and the treatment of the peasant class were basically the catalyst for his sociopathy later in life. Niers' murder spree began in the aftermath of a countrywide peasant uprising that started in 1525, which is known as the German Peasants' War. Revolt was the largest uprising in Europe until the French Revolution. Peasant armies stormed the castles of wealthy landowners, monasteries, and cities. As a result, crime rates in Germany soared. Murder accounted for anywhere from 11 to 15% of the country's crime between the 1570s and 1590s. Niers formed a gang of his own in Alsace, France, a town situated in the middle of the conflict. It's theorized that Niers was inspired by murderer Martin Stier, a shepherd and murderer that organized 48 fellow shepherds into a gang of bandits. Stier and his gang claimed to have traveled all the way to the Netherlands. After a 22-year crime spree, Stier was executed in 1572, but not before mentoring Niers. Niers and his rotating group of 24 bandits terrorized the European countryside for years, stealing and murdering from travelers on remote highways. The gang split up to target smaller attacks or banded together to take down larger ones. Eventually, the gang became emboldened enough to march into towns and villages, murdering, violating, and attacking citizens for their goods. Niers' gang traveled hundreds of miles across southern Germany, western France, the Rhineland, and Bavaria. The gang's widespread network of crime extended the stories of their misdeeds across Europe and created lore around Peter Nier and his crimes that persist today. I actually never heard of him before, but somehow one of the websites said, hey, you might find this interesting. And of course, I actually did find this interesting. That's why I'm talking about it. But they say that his misdeeds are close to Vlad and Bathory with how widespread his deeds became. In 1577, Niers and members of his gang were captured for the first time after 11 years of crime. One of Niers' accomplices actually turned them in, and Niers was consequently tortured. He reportedly confessed to 75 murders, some of which explained several accounts of missing local women. Niers somehow managed to escape his first imprisonment and avoided execution. Soon after, stories of his terrors reached folklorish levels of gore. Pamphlets, books, and songs about him circulated and featured cannibalism, black magic rituals, and supernatural abilities. According to a collection of pamphlets by Johann Wick, possibly the first true crime reporter, the killer summoned the devil in the woods near, and forgive me for the mispronunciation, Weisberg, France, and called on these powers, to complete his crimes. The stories also claim that before his execution, Stier trained Niers in the art of black magic. Wick, who followed both Niers and Stier's crimes closely, published 3 pamphlets about Niers between 1577 and 1583 that revealed the depths of his depravity. This next part of the story is pretty graphic and not for the faint of heart. Continue listening at your own risk. So historians report that German black magic practitioners from this era believed candles made from fetus skin and fat allowed for invisibility and other supernatural abilities. Legend also maintained that cannibalizing fetuses could give on the ability to transform themselves into a log, an animal, or stone. As a black magician, it was believed that Niers acquired an appetite for infanticide. While on the run, Niers was reported to have frequently changed his appearance to avoid capture. Among these disguises were a leper, goat, and a soldier. There were several things about Niers that never changed no matter what form he took. He was known to always carry money, 2 loaded pistols, and a broadsword. In his 1579 arrest warrant, Niers was described as rather old, with crooked fingers and a scar on his chin. Finally, in 1581, Niers' tenure as a serial killer would come to a disturbing end. Niers was captured when he tried to hide in plain sight when he stopped at a lodge in Newmark called the Bells and visited a bathhouse. Leaving his pouch behind with the innkeeper, townspeople confronted the innkeeper to inspect the pouch. Inside were trophies Niers kept from his victims. He was captured in the bathhouse. Many believe Niers was so easily arrested because he was separated from his magical objects, which were believed to make him invisible. Niers surrendered and confessed to 544 murders that included 24 pregnant women. Niers was tortured for 3 days. They used various torture techniques, but for some strange reason, he did not die, which made people believe Niers was being kept alive by the deal he made with the devil. The executioner eventually was the one to kill Niers. There are some issues surrounding Peter Niers, though. The combination of popular contemporary folklore and the passage of time have rendered the details of Niers' life and crimes somewhat unreliable. His crimes and kill count could be exaggerated, not really surprising since it was back then and they didn't have what we have today, forensics and all that type of stuff. So it's hard. It would have been difficult to pinpoint one person for a series of murders. And there also is another issue. Separating fact from fiction in Niers' tale is more complicated by the accounts of 2 serial killers of that time period as well. Chrisman, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Pertenga, I think that's how you pronounce it, and Peter Stump. Chrisman allegedly murdered 964 people and was executed using the breaking wheel, similar to Peter Niers, although Peter Niers didn't die on the wheel. Stump believed he was a werewolf and allegedly ate 14 children. He was also known, like Niers, for making a pact with the devil. Based on the inflated kill count, historians believe Chrisman was a fictitious combination of Niers and similar murderers of the time. There doesn't seem to be any accounts that claim Niers was fake because his victim count appears legitimate. So he could very well be one of the most prolific serial killers of all time. It's very possible. Do you believe Niers committed 544 murders? Or is it all exaggerated? Do you think the story surrounding Niers is fictitious, or did he commit all the crimes they found him guilty of? During the olden times, like I said, I think it'd be very difficult to pin one person for the murders unless they were similar, like Jack the Ripper in London. So I think it's really difficult to pinpoint him for 544 murders. Let me know what you think, though, in the comments below. I'm curious to know your thoughts. I will put links in the description for your information about Niers and the other murderers that were around during that time period. So you can have a little bit more background if you want to. Later tonight, I'll be reviewing Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark since I never reviewed it, surprisingly. Tuesday, I'll be playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Next Friday, I'll be reviewing Wes Craven's They, which is available to stream on Prime Video for those of you that are interested. I never heard anybody talk about it, so I never knew about this movie, so I just gave it a watch, and I'll let you know what I thought of it. Don't want to miss the upcoming content. Click the bell icon to be the first notified of new videos. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and take care until next time. Bye, everyone.